Susan Noles, Kathy Swarts reveal who Joan Vassos is most attracted to. November 6, 2024. Hello, Bachelor Nation news fans. Welcome back to the channel. Golden Bachelor alums Susan Noles and Kathy Swarts are talking more about Joan Vassos and her season of the Golden Bachelorette. They had a discussion on the Bachelor Happy Hour podcast where they dished on who they think Joan is most attracted to. Who do they name and why? Keep reading to find out more. Susan Noles and Kathy Swarts dish on who Joan is most attracted to. Susan Noles and Kathy Swarts are dishing on who they think Golden Bachelorette Joan Vassos is the most attracted to. They picked up on clues based on how she had been treating all the men. There's no denying she had connections with many of the men, but which does she seem to be most attracted to? According to Susan Noles and Kathy Swarts, they believe Joan is most attracted to Chalk Chapel. Why Chalk? The duo shared on the Bachelor Happy Hour podcast that they think Joan sees Chalk as the safe and sexy option. Plus, Kathy and Susan both noted there is serious chemistry between them. Kathy said, "Did you notice that she hugs him longer, she laughs with him?" Susan responded with, "She makes out with him." Susan went on to say, "The whole entire show, she gives little pecks. You know, at some point, Joan, forgive me 'cause I know you're going to be listening to this. I thought, doesn't she know how to kiss? Then I see her with Chalk, I'm like, oh oak." While they do agree Chalk is who she is most attracted to, Kathy also pointed out that she was really attracted to Pascal Abdi as well. They noted the tender moments she had with him as well. Only 2 men remain. Joan has only 2 men remaining, and after airing the Men Tell All special this week, next week fans will see who she chooses. The 2 men left standing are Chalk Chapel and Guy Gansert. On the November 13 finale episode, fans will see Joan introduce Guy and Chalk to her family. She will then make her decision. Following her final rose ceremony, Joan and her chosen man will appear on after the final rose. Do you think Joan got engaged? If you want to know, click here. What do you think about Susan and Kathy's interpretation of who Joan Vassos is most attracted? Do you agree? Stay tuned for more updates on all your Bachelor Nation favorites. Today, we're diving into the latest buzz from the Golden Bachelorette. Golden Bachelor alums Susan Noles and Kathy Swarts have shared some juicy insights about Joan Vassos and her connections with the remaining men. In a recent conversation on the Bachelor Happy Hour podcast, they dished on who they believe Joan is most attracted to and gave us a sneak peek at what they think might happen in the final. Keep reading as we break down what they had to say, why they think Chalk Chapel is Joan's top choice, and what they think could happen next for our leading lady. Susan and Kathy dish on Joan's connection with Chalk Chapel. Susan Noles and Kathy Swarts, fan-favorite contestants from The Golden Bachelor, are keeping close tabs on Joan Vassos' journey. According to the duo, one man has consistently stood out to Joan, and that's Chalk Chapel. They noted several signs that suggest Chalk is more than just another suitor. He might be Joan's safe but irresistible option. Kathy Swarts commented, "Did you notice that she hugs him longer, she laughs with him?" Susan quickly added, "She makes out with him." It's clear from their observations that Joan's interactions with Chalk have a certain spark that's hard to miss. Susan even joked, "The whole entire show she gives little pecks. You know, at some point, Joan, forgive me 'cause I know you're going to be listening to this. I thought, doesn't she know how to kiss? Then I see her with Chalk, and I'm like, oh oak." This playful critique had fans laughing, but it also pointed to something real. Joan and Chalk seem to have an undeniable chemistry that might be more than just for the cameras. But what about Pascal Abdi? Although Chalk seems to be Joan's top pick, Susan and Kathy also picked up on the special connection Joan shares with Pascal Abdi. While the chemistry with Chalk might be more intense, Pascal brings a different kind of charm. Kathy noted the tender moments between Joan and Pascal and the way he seems to put her at ease. Pascal brings a calmness to her, Kathy said. You can see her relaxing when they're together. It's like he offers her a safe place to just be herself, and that's really beautiful to watch. Two men left standing, Chalk Chapel and Guy Gansert. After weeks of ups and downs, heartfelt connections, and memorable moments, Joan is now left with her final two men, Chalk Chapel and Guy Gansert. With the Men Tell All episode wrapping up, fans are eagerly awaiting the November 13 finale, where Joan will introduce her remaining suitors to her family. According to Susan and Kathy, this introduction could be pivotal in helping Joan make her final decision. Kathy remarked, "Family is a big deal for Joan. She's been open about how much she values their opinions, so it's safe to say that how her family feels about Chalk and Guy could play a major role in her choice." Susan and Kathy's take on Guy Gansert. While the spotlight may be on Chalk, Joan's final pick, Guy Gansert, is far from forgotten. Guy has consistently shown his compassionate and steady nature throughout the season. According to Susan, Joan has always seemed comfortable around him, and he's brought a sense of warmth that's hard to ignore. Guy's the kind of man you could build a life with, Susan noted. He's reliable, he's kind, and Joan seems at ease with him in a way that's really touching. But whether Joan's feelings for Guy are strong enough to beat her undeniable attraction to Chalk remains to be seen. As the final rose ceremony approaches, fans are wondering if Joan might end her journey with a proposal. Susan and Kathy agree that if Joan's chosen man is Chalk, a proposal could be on the table. Joan's no stranger to following her heart, Kathy said. If she feels that connection with Chalk, I wouldn't be surprised if she says yes to an engagement. Susan echoed this sentiment, adding that Joan's connection with Chalk is strong enough to lead to a lasting commitment. She's serious about finding love. If Chalk's the one, I think she's ready to take that leap. On November 13, fans will get to see the moment Joan makes her decision. After the final rose ceremony, Joan and her chosen man will appear on After the Final Rose, where they'll reflect on their journey and give fans insight into what's next. For Susan and Kathy, this is the moment of truth. This is where we see if it was real, Kathy said. It's one thing to fall in love on a reality show, but it's another thing to make it work in real life. Bachelor Nation fans are divided on who they think Joan should choose. Some are all in for Chalk, believing he brings out a side of Joan that no one else does. Others think Guy is the one who will truly be there for Joan in the long run. The question of whether Joan will get engaged has fans speculating endlessly, with some even pointing out the show's track record of couples who find love but don't necessarily rush to the altar.